political discussion. World is changing, and world is changing in one direction only. There is no state of confusion now. World has been divided into two parts. One is communist based country, that is China, Russia, more or less Iran, North Korea. These are more or less communist based countries, and capitalism based country, that is United States, Canada, European Union. World is divided into two parts, and for sure people have started understanding it. Anyway, there is one Mr. Edward Price. Mr. Edward Price. He is United States analyst. We saw the reaction of Mr. Jacques Sullivan. He is former National Security Advisor to the United States. Very high post. National Security Advisor is very high post. I would say the highest post as far as the kind of non-political. If we take the post in non-political scenario, in government sector officer scenario, then the National Security Advisor is considered as the one of the highest post, or highest post, nearest to the Prime Minister or President, who is from the government sector. There is one Mr. Edward Price. He is United States analyst. Now he has opened his mouth now, and he is speaking. What he is speaking? What is he speaking? He is talking about 50% tariff on India. It is completely unjustifiable. It cannot be justified. 50% tariff on India. It cannot be justified. Why it cannot be justified? Because India is a country which always took side of America. This is what Mr. Edward Price is saying. India is a country which always took side of United States. At least in the past 20 years, from the Manmohan Singh as Prime Minister of India, when he visited 8 times to America in his 10-year tenure, when he was 70 to 80 year old. And then new Prime Minister from 1947, he broke all the record. 10 times, 10 times he has visited United States. And sometime he was there for 7 days, a week time. Okay, now 23rd of the September, the General Assembly, I believe 80th or 86th session of the United Nations General Assembly, that has to commence in the New York. Now it has to be seen that he will visit or not. News were kind of floating that, or circulating, that he would visit anyway. So past around 25 years, India is more or less completely sticking to America. Or I would rather say, after the disintegration of Soviet Union, from 1991, India is a kind of a staunch. This is a word I was trying to remember. Staunch. India is a staunch supporter of America. In that fashion, it is completely unjustifiable. Not with the India only. It is unjustifiable to the United States also. Putting 50% tariff on a country which is your best friend. Okay, I would tell to Mr. Edward Price, not only India, Japan also. They had put around 25% or 30% tariff on the Japan. Okay, that is also a staunch supporter of America. Once G7 group of nations was formed, Japan was considered a staunch supporter of the America. Never took side of the Russia or Soviet Union. So Japan and India, Donald Trump, he did not, rather than giving any, if we talk about not Japan and India, then there are, I believe, 130 or 140 countries where there is 10% blanket tariff on them. If tariff rate is not announced on them, then 10% is a default tariff that has been placed on them. Like Nepal, I believe Bhutan also, where the tariff rate has not been announced. So 10% tariff on them. But these countries who were a staunch supporter of America, to them 50%, 30%. This is what you did. Now he is saying that India, why India received 50% tariff? Because India is a country which is getting associated to Russia as far as buying the crude oil and having associativity with Russia. As far as defense deal is concerned, to detach India from Russia, Donald Trump or American government has taken this step. Okay, so indirectly, not directly, indirectly, Mr. Edward Price is saying If you are giving, if you are trying to penalize the country who are doing trade with the Russia, then penalize Germany also. Germany is doing trade with the Russia. Penalize Italy also. Italy is doing trade with the Russia. Penalize Turkey also. Turkey is doing trade with the Russia. I believe 10% or 15% is the tariff on Turkey. That's it. And Italy and Germany 10% tariff. Penalize Kazakhstan also. Kazakhstan is doing also heavy trade with the Russia. Penalize them also. Why only India? He is saying that when there is a victory parade, we'll talk about victory parade. When there is a victory parade that is going on in China, China is celebrating its victory day, 80th victory day, 80. 80th victory day means in 1945, China won the war called Second China-Japanese War. Second Sino-Japanese War that was won by the China People's Liberation Army or the Chinese Communist Party in 1945. So it is 80 years and they are celebrating it. India, full Asia is there. If someone is watching, today is 3rd of the September. Today is the victory parade in the Tiananmen or some square. I forgot the name. I personally visited this. It is in Beijing, and it is extremely beautiful. That is for sure. China is very beautiful country from the geography and from the local people out there. Everything is very beautiful. Anyone, I bet, anyone who visit China, he would not like to come back from there. You feel like you're at home that much. Anyone, and I have never seen any foreigner with sad face out there. Everyone enjoying the China. Just go to the China. Your all mental depression, any disease will go away. People are like that there. It is amazingly beautiful. Anyway, now China victory Tiananmen Square or something like that. China victory parade is going on full Asia is there. More than 26, I believe more than 40 country or 50 country, more than 50 country delegates are there, or around 50 country. More than 26 or around 30 country head of the state are there. Prime Minister or President or Army Chief, whoever is the head of the state, means whoever was invited into the victory parade, everyone is there. Serbia, Slovakia, Belarus, Russia, Iran, Kazakhstan, Armenia, Azerbaijan, I believe Egypt also, and then Indonesia, and then Vietnam, and whatever name you take, everyone is there in the victory parade of China. Okay, world is watching China now. Now, Mr. Edward Price is saying when everyone visited China, then India did not visit the China. There is no one from the India who visited the China victory parade. This proves that India is not along the Russia and China. And America has problem with the China as far as trade is concerned. And America has problem with the Russia as far as the Ukraine war is concerned. When you have problem with the Russia and China, and India is not along with them, this is what's seen here. If India was along with them, for which you have penalized India, because India was taking side of the Russia. If India was taking side of the Russia, then India would have been present there. But India is not there. When India is not there, this proves that India is a really independent country, independent in its thinking also. India decide on its own. He is praising Indian Prime Minister. The Indian Prime Minister had declared that Indian economy is not dependent upon America or Russia or China. India will take its own stand. And this proves it. When India is not in the Republic Parade of China, means India is not along the China and Russia also. Then why you lost your most trusted friend? This is what Edward Price is saying. He is commenting on Mr. Jackie Sullivan also, who said that Donald Trump he discarded India to favor Pakistan because he has some profit. He has some profit in Pakistan as far as trade and some kind of cryptocurrency benefits are there. He commented on that. He said that these are the matter of American president internal matter. We cannot comment on it. This is what he said. Okay, now this is what is published now in the newspaper, that politician by politician, official by official, okay, diplomat by diplomat or whatsoever, all have started criticizing United States as far as 50% tariff on India. Now, what is behind the scene? Is Donald Trump decide 50% tariff on India today itself? Donald Trump declared 50% tariff on India 1 month back only, not now. Then where these people were? They should have shouted at that time. So that Donald Trump, who had to implant, who had to bring this 50% tariff into effect from 27th of the August, he would have got some time to rethink about it. But why you are saying like that? Everyone is shouting now. Donald Trump has done very bad putting 50% tariff on India, putting now only. Okay, the scenario is SCO meeting. The SCO summit that happened in China on 31st of August and 1st of September, it raised the hair of everyone around the globe. No one had ever thought that SCO, which is considered as a very secondary kind of group, very secondary. It's not a BRICS nation. Only 10 countries are participant of the SCO nation, and more or less it is called Eurasian group. Eurasian means European Asian. Primarily it is communist-based group. China and Russia. From Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. So all are part of Soviet Union only. And this side, China. Otherwise, Iran, India and Pakistan. So more or less, it is China and Russia based. No one was giving emphasis to the SCO summit, but the way they saw that how 26 countries had participated in SCO, everyone went there. Either he is a dialogue partner of the SCO, he went there. He is observer in the SCO, he went there. Everyone, invited or non-invited whatsoever, everyone was in Beijing at that time. This put a big question mark on anyone in the European Union and United States. Now they were thinking about India, because there was picture of Russian President Putin, Mr. Putin, and Mr. Xi Jinping and Indian Prime Minister. All three were photographed together. Now it is raising. Now people started feeling when India forcibly got dissociated from the America, then India took side of the Russia and China. Now when India is not participating in the victory parade, now again it is putting question to the people, then where India is. This proves that India is a very powerful country, and India is not along anyone the way its Prime Minister is saying. India is along anyone who is talking benefit of India. This is what is, again, people can understand what is behind the scene. Even behind the scene, Mr. Edward Price, if you have seen the picture of Mr. Vladimir Putin and Mr. Xi Jinping and Indian Prime Minister together in the photograph, okay, then what similarity and what dissimilarity you saw there? Vladimir Putin, if I take Russia, then Russia has many things that world does not have. Russia had S-400 anti-missile system. Russia has world longest range ballistic missile. Russia has many things in engineering side which world does not have. In Russia export uranium product that no one has. Russia export food grains and cereal that no one has. I should not talk about the China, because China has thousands and thousands of items are there with China that no one has. But India has nothing. Russia is a product-based country. China is a product-based country. They are not like a typical communist country, but India is a beggar country. India is like a dog. I should not use these words, but what we can do? You cannot hide the truth. India is who go in front of anyone and start swinging its tail, that if I can get some money out of here. Prior to SCO, Indian Prime Minister was in Japan begging for money out there. Can you invest something in India so that we will get some money out here? If India was a self-dependent country, if India was a powerful country, then India should have some industry out there. India does not have anything. What in the number one exporter, if India export anything, then number one destination is America. 20% of the Indian export goes to the America. What India export? Prawn fish. that many countries export to the America. Prawn fish. What India export? Garment and carpet. That Bangladesh and Vietnam they also export to the America. What India export? Gem and jewelry. That many other country also. Gem and jewelry like gold metal. India does not have gold at all. India does not have gold at all. What gem and jewelry they would export? What India export? Leather material. India export leather material. What India export? India export mentha oil. Anything without means this is India now. Okay, is it that India is actually country like this? Certainly not. If we see Indian people, then Indian people are not beggars. Indian people are indeed what Edward Price is saying, self-esteemed and highly independent. But Indian people, they have been completely butchered by the GST that we will talk. Indian government brought GST to completely destroy the Indian industry completely, so that American and European Union companies they will have control over the Indian market, Indian development, Indian progress. That's why GST was brought 28%, so that Indian companies will go away. This is the Prime Minister of India. His main job is to make what I can say. It is understandable now. Okay, so Mr. Edward Price, if you are saying that India is a self-dependent country, India thinks about, then you are talking about Indian people probably, not Indian Prime Minister or Indian government. If Indian Prime Minister or anyone from Indian government is not taking part in the victory parade, then they are trying to please Japan. They are trying to please United States. They are trying to please European Union. They are trying to please you only. They have done it so that you will talk like this. Okay. And so that Mr. Donald Trump will proceed ahead and he will put 0% tariff, the way Edward Price is saying, that they should come back to 0% tariff against India, because India is a friend of America. Because India is not friend of America. Indian government is friend of any country who invest in India, make in India, bring your company out here and start giving money to the India. That's pure education. Okay, if you want, we will crush out all the Indian industry. We are ready for that. Okay, this is what you want, right? Indian industry should be crushed to an extent that you will grow. Yeah, we will do that. We have already done it with GST. This is what we have done. During the GST, thousands of Indian companies, they got shut down. Thousands. This is what was done deliberately to crush the Indian company. Now, Mr. Edward Price is saying that Indian Prime Minister is talking about vocal for local and Indian. Well, then when there is no Indian industry at all, then what is vocal for local? There should be something local then only. Then if Indian industry is there and powerful, then why Indian Prime Minister is running to Japan? When Indian Prime Minister is talking about semiconductor now. Indian Prime Minister is talking about rare earth metal now somewhere. Semiconductor and rare earth metal is talking about, so that foreign companies who are in semiconductor, American, European Union or Japanese company, they will get lured, they will get attracted and they will invest in India. They are ready to do anything to crush the Indians. Anyway, Mr. Edward Price, I'm not saying you are wrong, you are right. But from another point of view, there are two sides in India. One is Indian government, that is completely different side, and Indian people, they are completely different sides. So probably whatever you have talked about India, that India is very self-esteemed country and India is very independent country. India is not which takes side of one country, or whatever you have talked positive thing about India. There should be 0% tariff on India and this, and he has talked about only praise about India. I am thankful to Mr. Edward Price that first time I am seeing any this much high personality from United States, after Mr. Jake Sullivan, that he has talked this much about India. But you have to understand that knowingly, unknowingly, you have talked about Indian people, not about the Indian government.